What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the podcast, Drinks After Work with your girl, Shelly Nicole. How is everybody doing? How was everybody's week? I feel like I haven't talked to you guys in so long, or I haven't made like an episode in so long. But, yeah, well, I was away. I mean, I did mention that I was going away on a trip. So I enjoyed it. It was great. I had a great time. I highly recommend Aruba to anybody who has not gone. I recommend it. It was a girls trip for me. Shout out to my girls who went with me. I was honestly going to go for a solo trip, but I'm so scared to do a solo trip, honestly. But I was going to do it. Like, this is going to be my first time to just jump in and just say, hey, fuck it, let me just do it. Which is what I originally planned, but then again, like I said, my girls decided to come, so whatever. It was cool. It was a good time. We had a great time. I do see it as being a vacation spot also. Some people mention that or ask that. Is it more of a vacation? It can be both. It could be a girls trip or a vacation. A brocation, not really, but definitely for you and your boo, or for you and your girls. But nonetheless, it was great. The food was great. The people were very nice. The hotel we stayed at was the Riu Palace. I've been staying at the Riu for like quite some time. I never really had a problem with the Riu except for when I went to Punta Cana the second time. If you want to know what happened, just let me know. Well, hit me up and I'll let you know what actually happened. But other than that, I've had great stays at the Riu. I stayed at the Riu in Jamaica, stayed in DR, stayed in Mexico twice, I think, and then this was my fifth time with the Riu. That was 5, right? 5. That was my fifth time staying at the Riu for a vacation. So it was actually really cool. I never have a problem with them for the most part. And the food is always good. I think, well, maybe DR was probably the only one that was like, the food was a little but the food was good in Aruba. The people were nice, like I said. The water, amazing. I wanted to take it home with me because it was just like, this is water that you can drink. I mean, clearly it's salt water. You don't want to drink that, but it's like, it was that clear and it was that nice. So loved it. The excursions, we did jet skis, we did a cliff jump. It was so much fun. So again, I would recommend Aruba if it's on anybody's list, or if it's not on your list, put it on your list, because it's definitely a spot that you want to go to and enjoy. Yeah, so my week was great. You know, life be life, and sometimes you get back home after vacation and then life just socks you right in the face like, hey, welcome back. So that's kind of what it did for me. Everybody kept asking me like, are you okay? Are you fine? You don't sound like it. Listen, when life be life, and sometimes it's draining, and sometimes you just want to stay in the bed and not do anything. But you do have to keep pushing, because you can only allow yourself maybe like a day and a half to just like be, I don't want to say be down, but like be in your feelings about it. And then you got to keep going, because life does not stop. We are clearly like, and obviously you can see that it's September 16th already. Like, there's no way we're already, what is this, halfway through September, and October, we're about to start. I'm starting to shop for fall things. I'm starting to get like all of my fall decor going. I threw out a rug already that I meant to throw out a long time ago, but I'm like changing the decor in my house, making it more festive, making it more me. You know what I mean? Like, just so many things are changing in my wardrobe. I threw out so much stuff from my fall winter wardrobe. I have to go shopping all over again, because just so many things I threw out. But thank God for Klarna and Afterpay, because that's what majority of this is going on. But nonetheless, I mean, you know, like I said, life be life, but we have to be thankful and thank God that we're here, because there are people who did not wake up today. There are people who are going through worse things than what you're going through right now, and that's what keeps motivating me. And obviously, like I have always told you guys, reading the Bible has constantly been a help for me for like the last year. I'm like a baby in Christ. I heard somebody asking me about that. They were like, are you a Christian, or like you a starting Christian? I'm like, I'm a baby in Christ, guys. I'm just starting. Like, it's always been there. My parents have put me and my brother in church, and after a while, they were just like, okay, it's your choice if you want to go or not. So, as you get older, I think you just start to realize that God has been with you this entire time, throughout your life, throughout all your hard times. And some people call it luck, some people call it the universe, some people say this, it's the cards, it's the stars, whatever it is. Personally, I've learned to let go of all that cards, stars, and universal things, and just focus seemingly on what God has said to me personally, and in reading and growing in my faith. But nonetheless, as we're talking about growth and changing, this episode is maturing as a woman. Now, I don't feel like there's a certain specific age or time when you start to mature. If you guys haven't if you haven't known, first off, I am an author. Yes, I'm an author. I've been an author, honestly, for a long time. I've been an author since I was in 7th grade. I think it's 7th grade? 5th grade. I've been writing. A little interesting fact about me. I've been writing since I was, I think, in the 5th grade, 6th grade, 5th or 6th, maybe 4th. I don't know. I've been writing for a very long time. I've been writing a lot of poems since I was young. And I was actually in, I think, 5 or 6 books as a child. I don't think you guys knew that. I don't think I ever spoke about it either. But yeah, I've been in a lot of books as far as writing poems. I still have them to this day too. And I actually have been writing poems for like the last 10 years and wanting to put out a poetry book, like a small poetry book, and having all of them together from when I was younger to like now. And I actually have a book out now, which has been out for like, I think a year now. A year? 2 years. I think it's been out for a year now, maybe 2 years. I don't know. But the ish they didn't tell you about your 20s. It's on Amazon. I'm going to put the link in the the link is going to be in my description on Instagram, so you guys can get it from Amazon. I think it's $20, or I put it on sale for $15, so it's $15 on Amazon, and it's a small book, just some things that I have gone through in my 20s and learning as I went through that decade of my life, and things that no longer serve me now. Like now looking back at, me being 33, looking back then, it was just like, ooh, so many lessons that I had to learn. A lot of rough lessons. I'm hard-headed. I am. And I'm not going to sit here and brag about it. That's nothing to brag about, is to be hard-headed. I'm not saying that at all. But in a sense, there are things back then I was so hard-headed about that I didn't want to learn, and I just put off and was like, okay, yeah, I'll figure it out later on. And I think as you get older, and again, there is no time slot, there is no age really that you will mature. Everybody matures at a certain time when it's time for them to mature. There is no specific age when you can say that you're fully a mature person. It doesn't work like that. It sounds like we often do. I know I've done it before where I judge people based off their age. Like, you're still doing that at this age? Like, are you for real? But science and psychologists have actually said that every decade you start over. Your maturity starts over. There are certain things that you obviously are not going to do anymore because you've learned lessons, whether hard or easy. But every year, every year, and then every decade, you go back to being that young age. So at 31, I was, or had some, well, not me, but like just anybody in specific. Let me not make it too personal. Anybody specifically, once you turn 31, it's like you're turning 21 again, with certain things that you obviously know from your 20s that you're not going to do. But then you start to do some little immature things, or you feel vibrant, you feel happy, like, yes, I'm 31, and you feel young all over again. Then to 32, then 33, and it's not until you get to that 35 mark, just like how you were at 25, and it's like, okay, now I'm in the middle. What am I doing right now? And you start to feel that as you go through every decade. Nonetheless, everybody learns at their own pace, at their own time. But I feel like maturing as women, and especially today as women, I feel like women are maturing way fast. I mean, we've always matured faster than men, but I feel like it's been a thing that we honestly are taking, or that I've noticed that a lot of women, even in their 20s now, are being influenced more into the, okay, let's leave the partying, the craziness, the outside all night, drinking all night, smoking if you smoke, whatever, like doing all of that, leaving that really in like their early 20s and pursuing life in their late 20s. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I do feel like you do need to live and enjoy what it's like to, have or be able to have that freedom to do all of that at that age, if that's what you're able to do, if that makes sense. So if you haven't gotten that book, make sure you guys go get that. And then what I want to do too is which I'm doing now is every year, in my 30s, I'm writing down a chapter and what this chapter is called. And, I kind of suggest everybody should do that. You don't necessarily have to write a book about it, but I feel like if everybody writes down each year about what they learned and what would you name this chapter, this is your year, like whatever year you're in right now, what would you name this year as chapter whatever? Like mine is chapter 33. What year would this be? For me, this was my Jesus year. This was the year like I feel like I got closer and I'm getting closer to God, and I'm not putting up with so many things that I used to put up with. I'm holding myself accountable for a lot of things that I've done and a lot of what has occurred in my life, good and bad, and just, I don't know, just a lot of reflection too. I would definitely call it reflection. I have like a million titles for this chapter. I feel like 33 has 1,000 chapters, and so does 1,000 titles. And so does 32. I feel like it has 1,000 titles, but nonetheless, I want to do this for the 30s too. So that will be interesting, and to see where and how, as a woman, you mature, and how, even for myself, how I've matured, and what those who are in their 20s can look forward to. Not saying it's going to happen precisely how mine happened, but things that I've realized that have happened to me as I've turned 30, and even with my friends. Even one of my friends who's actually 29 right now, and she's like, Michelle, life is really lifing right now. Like, what is going on? And I told her, and I said this to her when she was 27. I was like, watch, as you get closer to 30, things are going to start to change. And it's like life really is going to turn the table upside down, and you're going to see a lot of things differently than what it is you thought it was. And every time that we have a conversation, she's like, you weren't lying. I was like, I know. No one told me this at 30. Like, no one said this was going to happen at 30. And it was a shock. And it's, it's shocking her. It's shocking other people who have mentioned this to me, or I've even heard mention it in other podcasts that I've listened to. It's the same thing, where 30 is like the new wham in your face. And it's just like, and I don't know if it's for men too. Maybe it is for you guys as well. But I know for women, especially if you're a woman who has no kids, who's never been married, that also starts to play in your head a lot too. Your time clock starts to like really, you start to get anxious and you start to get nervous. Like, well, you don't want to just have kids with anybody, and you don't want to just go back to somebody who an ex or somebody who you were talking to back then. So what do? Do you go on dating apps? Do you do speed dating? Do you spin the block on someone else that you know? Like, what is it that you actually do? So I feel like in our 30s, especially for women, we have like a lot to stress over. And maybe for guys, it can probably be the same thing, where if they're single, not parents, they possibly feel like they need to get their life in order as well, because it's like, what are they doing? What are they contributing to? Are they contributing to anything at all? So it could be a lot, but I do feel like with age, the old saying, with age comes maturity. But you do mature over and over again. Every decade and every year it's something different. But in this specific case, maturing as a woman when it comes to dating, because we always like to, the dating pool is terrible right now. But I'm learning, just as I think everybody else is learning, what it is that we want and what it is that we don't want. And the 12 things about maturing as a woman. So I actually saw this on Love Me Gigi, I think it is, lovemegigi.com. I want to say her name is Gigi. And she basically was talking about how the 12 signs of a mature woman and how to know you're dating one. So I guess, fellas, this is for you as well when it comes to know if you're dating a mature woman or not, and knowing, ladies, if you are that woman, and if not, how can you become this mature woman when it gets to when it comes to dating and being a better woman. Now, when I was reading this, some of these I actually agree with. Some of them I'm just like, but one of the things that actually stood out with me is that, well, some of the things that stood out was mature women don't play games. That's very true. We don't have time. Just to make things easier for you men to understand, we don't have time anymore to play with you or with anybody else. If this is something that you want, then let's go for it. If you're not sure, that's fine too. But please know before you get to me what it is you're looking for. And I feel like, ladies, when it comes back to that same thing of mature women don't play games, you have to understand whether or not you are emotionally mature, or if you're even receptive to the growth and change that comes with dating a man who is older and dating a man who has all his things together. Not necessarily just older, because there are older men who don't have it all together, oddly enough. But at least knowing that if you say that you don't want a man to play about you, why are you going to play with him? If you know that you're not with the whole, well, if we're dating, then it's just me and you dating. And if you're dating multiple people and you expect him to just cut everybody else off, be for real. Be for real. If you're going to date multiple people, he's going to date multiple people. It's the same thing. I was actually watching the podcast on YouTube, Whorish Behavior, and they had Anwar on, and he was talking about how you should date multiple people until one of them wins. So you have a gold medal person, like a gold medal dater, you have a bronze, and you have a silver. And it depends on what, that's not the order. Gold, silver, bronze, sorry. And they basically, you date them until one of them shows that they are serious about you. And I feel like, even for myself, I have done that. I've done the whole, dating multiple guys. And just and please, let's get the narrative of just because you're dating multiple people does not mean you're having sex with multiple people. That's not the case. I feel like some people think that too, like, oh, you're dating this guy, you're dating that guy, you're dating this woman, you're dating that woman, oh, you're messing around, you're fucking around with all of them. That's not necessarily the case. It can literally be that, like, it's a closed shop downstairs, but I'm getting to know who these people are. And then when I feel like this person is serious, or this person asks me to be their girlfriend, or for a guy, if you feel like this is the girl who you want to be with, then okay, shop is open. But otherwise, I don't necessarily see why people correlate the two with dating as also needing to have sex. I don't get it, but whatever. Nonetheless, he was saying that you should have 3 people, have a good starting lineup, a good 3 that you should be dating, and seeing where it goes. And like I said, seeing whoever steps up to the plate. And I feel like, especially for girls who are like very serious when it comes to dating, I feel like it's hard for us, because I've even been like that, where it's hard for us to just date multiple people. We always just want to find one person. It's like, okay, that's the person. But we always mess ourselves up by doing that. So I think when we realize that we're not in, we're standing on business, we know what we want. And if dating multiple guys to see where they align with us, if any of them align with us, I think that's more beneficial than not. Although, because we've always told ourselves dating multiple guys is like, other people had said, like, back in the day, if you're dating multiple guys, you're a whore. But again, why does that have to be a whore thing if I'm not having sex with any of them? I'm just dating them. They're courting me, and I'm seeing who I feel is worth it. There's nothing wrong with that. And I feel like guys would do the same thing. Now, it's obviously different with guys because you're going to have to spend more money than we are, but it comes with the game. It comes with the role. It comes with the role of being the man, the provider. So I know that y'all going to get spicy with me on that, but it's true. It's true. So you are going to have to spend a little coin here and there, but get creative. and see what happens. See how it goes. Another thing that stood out to me was when they said that grown women do not ignore their own needs. And that I feel like is 110% true. I know that like dating early, or even not even dating early, but when you get into romantic relationships, sometimes we tend as women to forget about ourselves, and we lock ourselves into what does our man want, my man, my man, my man, my man, my man, and we forget about us. And it's easier said than done because of course you're in the infatuation state and you love everything about him and you like what he does for you and you like what he brings to the table, and you're just, it's a breath of fresh air and it's somebody new. So obviously you're going to be more invested into them. And I'm speaking like, as I'm picking the ones that I'm picking, it's obviously, not just ones that I like, but these are things that I have, even myself, had to like chin check myself. Like, okay, girl, what are you doing when it comes to dating, and how can you be better when it comes to picking and choosing who it is that you're supposed to, or who you want to be with? So ignoring the needs of yourself, I've even found myself doing that sometimes, like forgetting what it is that I like, forgetting what it is that brings me happiness, and not always putting my happiness into my relationship and just thinking my relationship is my happiness. You have to learn to balance the two. And again, I know it's easier said than done because you're in that infatuation state. And I'm not saying that it's not okay to do. It's good to be obsessed with each other. It's good to like really want, and a healthy obsession, not a crazy, cringy worthy obsession, but a healthy obsession to the point where it's like, okay, I know that this person really cares about me and I really care about them, and we want the same things. And, we spend ample amount of time with each other, but we also give each other space to do our own thing. So whatever it is that you like to do, whether it be you like to cook, go to the gym, hang out with your friends, go by the water and sit there, listen to music and just meditation itself, yoga, whatever it is, reading, whatever you were doing in your singleness, whatever you were doing in your alone time, I feel like as grown women, we don't ignore it anymore. We know, like, now that we know, and I think that's another thing too, we grow to know exactly what it is we like to do for ourselves and what we're interested in. And I feel like maybe at a young age we don't really know yet, so that's why we are very much so my man, my man, my man. But even now, getting into a more mature and more grown relationship, you want to make sure you don't ignore your own need and what it is that makes you, and what you've been doing in your singleness. And that's why it's also good, just a little side note, why it's also good to enjoy your singleness. I never hated being single. I never hated being single. I may have not liked it, but I never hated being single. The one thing that I have learned in the singleness after almost 3 years, two years now. I think it's Jesus. I'm losing time. Like, time is just flying by. And I'm just like, is it 2 years? Is it 3 years? I don't know. I want to say 2 years. It will be 3 years of being single. It's just like you learn about yourself, but you also heal from your past. You heal from whatever happened. You heal from your own mistakes. You heal from the mistakes of others. And you learn things about yourself now in this new age, because it is a new age, obviously a new decade. And you have a obsession with yourself, which is good. You know what it is you like, and you're more invested in yourself. Of course you want love. Of course you want that romance, but it's best that you spend that time by yourself to get to know yourself. It's cool if you want to go on little dates, little sprinkle, little razzle dazzle, get outside a little bit, but to really hone in on who you are, to hone in on what makes you you, and not and to know that the next time you get in a relationship, you don't ignore this. You remember this is what makes you happy, and this is what has brought you happiness in the time of your alone time. Now this one, I think these are like my top 3, I think. grown women don't tolerate disrespect. Maturing as a woman, you don't tolerate disrespect at all. I don't want to sit here and say that you, or at any given point, you're supposed to tolerate disrespect from anybody. But I feel like as we mature as women, the patience level for disrespect becomes smaller and smaller and smaller. That line just becomes way thinner and way thinner and way thinner. We don't have, no, listen. If you want me to respect you, you have to respect me. I mean, that goes on all boards, all senses, with anybody, whoever you come in contact with. We are grown. There's no reason for you to be screaming. There's no reason for you to be talking down to. There's no reason for any name calling. There's no reason for yelling. There's no reason for any of that. Now, granted, depending on the situation, it may come out. A little high note may come out. But for the most part, not tolerating someone to talk down to you, or not tolerating anybody to come at you. There's a difference between talking to somebody and talking at someone. And when someone talks at you, the first thing you got to do is like, okay, hold on. That's what we're not going to do. And you have more of a backbone as a mature woman to say, you know what, I'm not handling it. I'm not dealing with that. And it can be from your past. It can be from past relationships, past friendships, where you probably just shoved it off and you brushed it off as it was nothing big. But now as a mature woman, you see like, okay, why did I even let anything like that get to me? Why did I even let anything like that not get to me, but why did I even let it just, I'm trying to think of the word. Why did I even let it absorb my energy? If that makes sense. Like, why did I not speak about it back then? And again, maybe just not having the idea that you can. Maybe, you've been quiet your entire life, or you've been told to be quiet your entire life. And now that you've gotten older and you've found your voice and you've found who you are, or you're in the journey to finding who you are, you speak up and you say something in reference to whoever is disrespecting you. I don't take kindly to disrespect. I don't take kindly to it. And I think my best thing that I had to do was how I came at the disrespect. So I've never gotten into a fight. I've never been a physical fighter. That's just never been me. I have a slick mouth. Depending on the situation, I have a slick mouth. And sometimes I always wonder how didn't I get into a fight with my slick mouth? But nonetheless, I won't say that I didn't have a voice. I think I was just a little timid, and I didn't feel like I needed to always address everything. And sometimes you don't. Sometimes you don't have to always address everything. Sometimes things just, you let people talk, you let people make a fool of themselves, and you just call it what it is. But now I feel like even at this point, at this age, when I feel disrespected, or if I feel like someone is coming at me, I'm going to talk to you like this. And I realize talking like this does way more damage than doing all the, yeah, you mother, it does way more. Talking to someone like this, giving them eye contact, probably a little squint here and there in one of your eyes, and really looking at them like, have you lost your mind? Do you know who you're talking to? Watch your mouth. It's just small things like that have caused people to really bring it down a million notches compared to the yelling and the screaming and the rah-rahness of what I guess we've done. I want to say we, as in other women, have done this as young girls in teenage years, when we would raise our voice back and we would feel like if you fight fire with fire, you're gonna get your point across. And a lot of the times, just speaking in a calm tone really puts that, ooh, don't mess with her, that fear, or not necessarily fear, but that, okay, she's not playing, into that person who is trying to address you in the disrespectful manner. Now, there was a million other things that were written on this site, Love Me Gigi, and if you guys want to go, you can read it too. It's Love Me Gigi, but it's not G-E-G, it's J-E-J-E. And I'm actually going to talk about the rest of it on, because there's 12 different things that she mentioned. And I feel like they are actually really, really good. And I feel like it's something that as women, we can all have a conversation about, that we either are doing now or that we have tend to do back in the day. And I feel like, we can all come to the agreement that there's still maturing to do. There are still a lot of things that we have to get over. There are a lot of things that we are learning about ourselves, things that we are healing from. And it's a never-ending cycle. So be kind to yourself. I'm constantly having to tell myself that too. Like, stop beating yourself up. Stop going back to the past, letting it let it go, leave it alone, and just learn from it and write things down. Like I said, I've been writing forever, so I feel like my writing is my therapy to like let things go, for real. But I love you guys for listening. Again, tune into the live on, why did I say again? I didn't even say it the first time. Tune into the live. I'm going to do the live on Wednesday. I'll do the live pertaining to this episode, Maturing as Women. And gentlemen, please, before you get on this live, if you're going to try to do this attacking thing, don't do no attacking. I don't have women trying to attack you when the conversation's about you, so don't come on this live trying to attack us, okay? It's just a informative and collective. And ladies, I hope you join in. I hope you guys join in. I hope you guys are able to talk and have the conversation. How has maturing at your age been? What have you learned? What are you still learning? And we can all help each other. I mean, that's the whole purpose. It is called Drinks After Work, but we're all working. We all got a 9 to 5. We all making the money, making the coin. But maybe sometimes when we get home, we want to sit back and we just need to, sometimes get on the phone and vent to our friends and vent to whoever we speak to. So I love you guys for listening. I hope you guys have an amazing week. Leave whatever happened today into today. Don't bring it into tomorrow. Don't bring it into the rest of the week. You are loved. You are cared for. Be kind to yourself. Thanks for listening, guys. Later.